Now, let's look at the Eagles converted a couple really key fourth downs. Now, a lot of that was influenced by the fact that the weather they were afraid to kick it with the weather. I get that, but they did convert that. What I thought turned the game around, the Jaguars on a 4th and 3, Lawrence fumbled the snap. They were up 14-0 at the time, and that gave the Eagles life. They came down and scored off of that drop.
And if he doesn't fumble that ball, he certainly either is running for the first down or he's got a guy wide open in the flat to convert the first down. I mean, that was a huge play in the game.
Yeah, and then after they gave it up on 3rd and 10, that prompted the Eagles to come right down the field and score again with Sanders to tie the game. And then he fumbles another snap. Reddick with the strip sack, he had 2 of them today, led to another touchdown. All of a sudden you look up, it's 20-14, completely flipped. The Jaguars did not look like a confident team after that.
Well, when you look at the 2 strip sacks that Reddick had, let's give credit where credit is due. The guys on the back end holding up in that situation because Trevor Lawrence held the ball longer than he wanted to. Those were both timing situations. He had nobody open, and that 1 fraction of a second was the difference from him either completing it, throwing it out of bounds, or luckily for the Eagles, them stripping the ball, getting the ball in their favor on a short field, which led to them getting a couple of scores. So kudos to the guys on the back end as well for being able to hold up their end of the bargain today.
Hey, Mike,
yes, sir.
And can I put this to rest before you ask me this question later on?
Here we go.
And before everybody on social media asks the question, is the Eagles' defense that good, or is Trevor Lawrence just that bad? Come on, man. I'm going to tell everybody the same way I told you last week. You play who you play, and I'm not going to absolve the great player, this defense. I'm not going to take it away from them with the response is that, it's Kirk Cousins, and he stinks. Oh, it's Carson Wentz, and he's fried. Oh, it's Trevor Lawrence, and he's a young quarterback. Listen, it's the pressure that this defense applied to these quarterbacks, okay, that caused them to make the mistakes that they made, and the Eagles capitalized on it, and that's why they're 4-0 right now. I'm not going to take it away from them by saying that these quarterbacks and these teams that they're playing are that bad. No, they're forcing the issue.
I'm totally with you there. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good quarterback. I think he got a little nervous today under these conditions. I don't know how many conditions were like that ever that he played down at Clemson, right? But listen, they are what they are. They're 4-0 right now, and there's nobody that can complain about that. I have one complaint, however. There was one thing that stuck out to me, and it was A.J. Brown and a lack of effort to tackle the interceptor after that play. He was right there to line him up, and he just did not want to engage. That bugged me a little bit, Seth. Had to bug you.
It did, and I'm pretty sure, he's not looking forward to rolling into the film room tomorrow and having to watch that on film with his teammates, with his offensive teammates, sitting there watching that lack of effort. And he'll probably apologize to the guys because, as a leader on the team, when you don't live up to that standard, that Jalen Hurts is always talking about, and that standard that Brandon Graham is talking about, and that standard that Jason Kelce is talking about, and you're supposed to be one of the leaders, you got to own that. You got to own that because that could have been the difference between them winning and losing this football game today.
Yeah, it was blatantly obvious. We looked at it.
He made a business decision. He made a decision because, look, it's early in the game. I'm already soaking wet. I'm not putting myself out there right now.
I can't have that. 2 things I want to look at. The Jags came in leading the NFL in turnover margins. They were +7 coming into this game. Well, the Eagles really flipped it on them there. And also, Seth, I got to say, Trevor Lawrence coming into this game had gotten the ball out of his hands quicker than any quarterback in the NFL. 2.39 seconds, they utilized the short passing game. What did the Eagles do to take that away?
Well, I can't say that they got up and they really challenged him. I think he was just confused where he wanted to go with the ball. Listen, Zay Jones is out, so that messes up some of the continuity, at the wide receiver position. And then, we're in a situation where our starting slot corner, and after the first series, our best cornerback is out of the game. You would think that they would be in a prime position to be able to do what they've been doing all along. I just think that Trevor Lawrence had one of those days today where he wasn't seeing the field as clearly as he has been seeing it, and I think the pressure or the anticipation of the pressure based upon what he watched last week when they bagged Carson Wentz 9 times, that's got to have a psychological effect on you when you watch that. So maybe if I'm Doug Peterson, I don't even show him that film. I show him the previous 3.
I'm still gonna give the secondary a lot of credit for Trevor Lawrence not being Trevor Lawrence today.
Yes, I mean I'm being facetious.
No, I know you are. I know you are. But when you consider how many times he stood back there and double tapped that ball, it's because he couldn't find anybody downfield. Even when Darius Slay went out, whoever came in, Josiah Scott, whoever came in, held up their end of the bargain in unenviable situations like that. You're right. Jacksonville not having Zay Jones was huge in terms of not being as fluid as they wanted to be with their offensive concepts in the passing game. But the bottom line is they had some players out there that could take advantage of situations. Christian Kirk, we all laughed at them signing a Christian Kirk before this season for the kind of money they signed him to. He's turned out to be a really good ball player for him. Evan Ingram, his biggest problem when he was with the Giants was he couldn't stay healthy. He's turned out to be a reliable receiver for him. They bring in a Brandon Scherf. They have a pretty good team. They just have to learn how to get over the hump in big games like this.
Well, on that note, the secondary, too, Maddox was out, and then Slay goes out. So you're talking about Epps and Josiah Scott having filled the bill. Now, Scott had his moments of, inglorious moments, but for the most part, you're right. They did survive it.
Well, when you talk about a kid like Scott, he hasn't had much playing time. So, he's out there, his head's swimming, his heart's in his throat. He's got a lot of stuff going through his mind. But luckily, he has an umbrella of players around him that can help him disguise whatever deficiencies he had on the football field. And the way they were controlling that line of scrimmage, especially from the second quarter on, it made his job a lot much easier. And once the Eagles bounced back, took the lead, they could play a little bit more looser brand of football.
All right, much more to come on the Lehocky Eagles postgame show. We're going to hear from Lane Johnson coming up, and also Devin Caney and the Diamond Debate. We'll have all that, game balls, all that stuff. Stay right with us. It is the Lehocky Eagles postgame show. Back after this.